My name's Davis. I'm originally from Southern California, from the San Gabriel Valley. How I met Kaori actually was I met her online through some YouTube videos as we were researching different phases of how to buy our first home. And we actually met her, or saw her through Sean from Loan Depot's videos, and they were filming some lifestyle content for Las Vegas. And yeah, she just made it really fun and engaging. And as I was talking to Sean, he referred me to Kaori along with a couple other real estate agents. And I wanted to just do some homework and meet 3 different agents and figure out, hey, who's gonna be the best fit for our first home? And ultimately, this is where it led us. I think from a gut feeling, we knew Kaori felt the best in our guts. And this was simply just because of the content that she was putting out, how informative she was, and how approachable she was overall when we reached out. I think the other agents were great as well, but I think with her building that relationship online with her audience up front, it really built a sense of trust much earlier on. And we basically knew who we were going to be doing business with before we even talked or met with her. And by meeting her, it just validated all of that. So that's kind of how we ended up with her. Almost didn't really have to think too much throughout the process. And I think part of that initially stressed me out because from hearing from other people, they made it sound so stressful. But as we were going through this, I was just like, am I supposed to feel stressed? And we don't. And it's because she really was, she took a lot of initiative in addressing things before anything came up and just keeping us informed along the journey so we knew exactly what to expect. And she was also extremely responsive. So when we had any questions or concerns or even just needed some insights or ideas or just someone to bounce some ideas off of, she was just really great at being there for us. And ultimately, we always felt like she cared about what was best for us and didn't feel like she was pushing any other motives beyond that. Honestly, how we chose a new build is during the time that we were looking at homes, market was insanely hot here in Las Vegas. So we got our heart broken a few times. We fell in love with a few homes and wanted to put in bids and kind of go through the process. But by the time we even thought about moving forward with that, homes were already sold. And so, yeah, we just decided, hey, let's just go look at some new builds and see if there's any that we would really like in terms of the area and in terms of the actual layouts and all that good stuff and the potential for the future investment, appreciation and all that good stuff. And also finally, we decided, hey, if it's our first time, we want to make this really fun. And so with the new build, it's literally brand new out of the box, ready to go. So no issues as soon as you get it. And I think by doing that, we eliminate needing to go through remodeling, through dealing with a lot of the contractors and a lot of the other noise that's needed to get the home that we want. And so we decided on the new build. Because it's a new build and it took roughly 8 months from the time we signed the purchase agreement till it was finished, the fear was that it didn't feel real yet. So we were still like waiting on this thing to finish and be ours, because even though on paper we had signed the purchase agreement and technically made it ours, it wasn't really ours until we got the keys. And so I think by needing to wait for that, it added some type of stress. But again, that is not in anyone's control. It doesn't matter how good of an agent you have or how good of a builder you had. That's just the nature of how the market was. And so that was one of the biggest fears. And of course, needing to keep your financials in check throughout those 8 months, because you need money at the very end in order to obviously close on the home. So I think that was one of the biggest fears. But beyond that, honestly, going with a new build removed a ton of the fears that we would have had, or a lot of the anxiety or concerns we would have had throughout a lot of the process. So that's precisely why we went with the new build specifically. She didn't just provide the service of showing us homes. She first really got to know us as people, and she really got to understand what we were looking for, what were some of her needs and wants, not just within the house, but in terms of the longer term future. So we wanted an area that would appreciate, that had the potential for that. And so we really tapped into that and really just dialed in kind of different areas that would make a lot of sense for us. Also talked about, our lifestyles and what types of homes would suit our needs. And honestly, some of that we didn't even know, but she asked really great questions in order to kind of dive into that, and ultimately would give us options in different areas of things that we could look at. And so that had been extremely helpful in helping us define what was gonna be our first perfect home. Beyond that, she also is a very trusted realtor here in Las Vegas, so she has a really wide network. And so beyond just helping us buy our first home, she actually referred us to a lot of different contractors that would help us piece our brand new home together. So contractors to help us paint the house, install some ceiling fans, install some of the lighting, and also just help with the general design of the house. And we were really comfortable going through her for that because she had been such a great service for us. And so we figured her network would also be the same. And we found that to be true as well through our research and getting quotes from other people, ultimately really leaning into her resources. So that was really helpful. Yeah, I mean, we would absolutely recommend Kaori. I think, like I said, for us, it just made a ton of sense. We're pretty young, so obviously we watch YouTube, we're on social media, and I think she especially knows how to speak to my generation and our generation and even the incoming generations. I think just being on YouTube and other social media channels such as like Instagram or TikTok and whatnot, I think that's where we are and that's where we're seeking information. And so I think by doing that, she was able to separate herself out from the noise, because honestly, we were looking at agents on Zillow, and there are hundreds of agents, thousands probably, that just have 5-star reviews. And so that can quickly become very overwhelming. And you're also just reading text reviews, so you don't get a sense of the type of person that you're going to be dealing with, hearing their voice, hearing their tone, and hearing how they conduct themselves. And I think by Kaori separating herself, by doing that, it not only got us to notice her, but it speaks volumes in terms of how she thinks and how she approaches things. And so that was showcased throughout the entire process, from informing us about different areas that we were looking at, showing the pros and cons of some of the decisions that we might have wanted to make, and allowing us to really make the decision for ourselves, but giving us the information that we needed to feel comfortable making those decisions. And so I think by doing that, it just really made it a very collaborative process, really seamless, and it made us ultimately confident in the decision that we would have to make for ourselves. And none of that is possible without Kaori.